You can build a worm bin out of a variety of different containers, and it's really up to you in terms of what you appreciate aesthetic-wise, depending on where you're going to keep your worm bin. A lot of people keep their worm bins in their house. That's where I keep mine, in the kitchen, where it's really accessible to put the food scraps right into the bin. So what we've got this bin built out of is just an 18-gallon tote, see, that you can pick up at a store. And we have drilled some holes into the side that allow there to be air circulation in the bin, and also give a little light at the top of the bin, which keeps the worms down lower. So the worms that we use for composting are in an Acenia species. These are Acenia fetida, and these are the most common. They're commonly called red wigglers, and you'll notice that they are really quite wiggly, hence their name. Baby worms grow inside these cocoons for about 3 months before they hatch. Each worm cocoon can hold 2 to 4 tiny baby red wigglers in it. When the worms hatch out of these cocoons, and they're teeny tiny, they're white for the first 24 hours of their lives, and then they begin to turn red, their signature red wiggler color. And so what we're going to talk about here is a couple of different options that we have for worm bedding. So this is some old newsprint, and I have quite a bit of it already shredded up here. But essentially you just take it and you tear it into these long strips and make shredded paper out of it. You can put it into the bottom of the bin and create a nice coat. And so we're just going to put a thin layer of this newspaper on the bottom. It needs to be a little bit damp, so it needs to be the consistency of a wrung out sponge. So there are a couple of ways that you can go about this, but one of the ways to make sure that you don't get it too wet is to just use a spray bottle and spray this down. And it does take a little bit. You can also use a garden hose with a mist setting on it that will keep it from getting too much water in one section of the paper at a time. So you can often order this coconut coir, which is essentially the fiber of the coconuts, from the same places that you get your worms, but I actually bought this from my local home center because they often keep it in supply in the garden centers as well. So we're gonna do both today. We're gonna put a layer of the newspaper in, and then we're going to put in a layer of the coconut coir. We're just going to help them move into their bin now. But you can put your food scraps into the bin. Again, the worms are top feeders, so just put them on the top part section of the bin. They will eat all kinds of vegetable and fruit scraps. Then it's time to just put a top layer of bedding back over your food scraps. Help them get settled in, keep your moisture correct, and they will start taking care of your food scraps for you.